So now that you've chosen a topic and narrowed it down and started doing your research and all that wonderful stuff, now is the time to organize the body of your informative message. So for this assignment, you're going to submit two things. You're going to submit the body of your speech and your reference page that you have done. And so don't worry if you submit your reference page now and then as you continue to work on your speech, you decide, I actually don't want to use that source, or I found a different source, or I want to add some sources. That's completely fine. I just want to see that you have at least 3 now for the body that you have as you are moving forward now. So the body of your speech, what you should do is you can certainly use that blank outline I've included right above this video, and you can download that and you can use that. You don't necessarily need it as much for just the body if you don't want to, but you can certainly use it for that and then build from there, right, as you move forward to write the introduction and conclusion later. So you want to start with the body because that's going to inform some of the beginning and the end, of course. After you've nailed down your thesis, of course, you'll work on your body of your speech. So you can organize it a variety of ways, as you learned in Chapter 9. It can be chronological, this happened first, second, third. It can be geographical, this happened here, here, and here. It can be by topic or idea, just here are 3 important things about the movement that I want to talk about, and that's totally fine. It's up to you, whatever you think is best for your presentation. So what you want to include in this assignment when you submit it is, what are your main points? You should have 2 or 3. That's how many you should have for a 4 to 6 minute speech. So 2 or 3 main points. I recommend 3, but it depends on, again, your topic and what you want to do with it. So you'll have sort of, what is your first main point? It is the beginning, for example, the beginning of the movement, how it started. And then in there, you will write down your support. So you're not writing full sentences. You're not writing an essay at all. I will never ask you to do that for these informative and persuasive presentations, just like your intro. These are all going to be extemporaneous speaking, so you speak from an outline. So you will not be speaking from a manuscript for these speeches. You will just be using an outline. So you will not submit an essay to me. I'm not going to read an essay. What I will look at is your outline. So you want to have your first main point, right? So you'll put, again, beginning of movement, how it started, whatever you want to call it. And then underneath that, you should have a few different lines of supporting material, right? So we talked about supporting material. You read about supporting material earlier. Statistics, stories, facts, all of these different kinds of things, examples, illustrations, you want to have a variety of supporting material. So you'll have your supporting material. So you may have a statistic, or you may have a specific fact that you want to use. And so you'll put that in there sort of as a highlight, right? So if you want to talk about, for example, the person who started the movement, you might write down George Jones, the person who started the movement. And then you would then speak from your memory, you're not memorizing it, you don't have to memorize it, but it would be like you've done the research and you've read through it and you've practiced it by the time we get there, right? Not yet, don't panic. Then you will speak from that, right? And you'll have notes for yourself. But you will just write down the person who started the movement, for example, and that's fine. So also, I want you to include your sources that you're using. So if you ever have a statistic, you'll always cite that. If you have a direct quote from a person, you will always use that as a source. So you can see the example. It has support, which you would put down the information that you want to use, and then to the side there, for now, you'll just put New York Times, right? That's fine. However you want to do it for yourself at this point. I just need to know that you have 3 sources, 3 different sources where you found that information. So you'll put down a couple words or a sentence maybe, and then the source that you got that information from. So make sure that when you're going through there, you have a variety of types of supporting material. You may even want to write that down for yourself. For me, I'm not requiring it necessarily for this, but put down, is it a fact, a statistic, a direct quote, a story, right? What are these supporting materials? Because that would be really useful for you to make sure that you have a variety of them, because you don't want to have just stat, or a lot of direct quotes in a row. You need to have a variety of supporting materials. So for this assignment, again, main point, support, where you found it. That's going to be what you'll submit for your outline. I will look at it and I will give you feedback on it. For the reference page, please see all of that information I have available to you for how to cite correctly in APA style, and submit that reference page as well. If it's not quite correct right now, that's okay. We can work on it, but make sure that you do your best to get it in correct APA style. All right, I look forward to reading these.